Hi guys, it's Lynn again. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I am going to talk about some more serious stuff, pension. Okay? I just want to share with you guys a mistake that I made throughout my full-time working as a pharmacist. I hope you guys can learn from it to gather some lessons that would be beneficial to you to talk about your pension. Just before we start, just a disclaimer, I'm not a qualified financial advisor. All these lessons are just based on my own experience, so listen to it with a pinch of salt, do your own research. If you find that interesting, then speak, or if you think you want to further educate yourself further, read more books about it, or consult a financial advisor. There's a lot of independent financial advisor available, give you the advice to tailor to your own circumstances. So let's go back to the beginning. So after 5 years at uni, you are now and then completing your pre-reg exam, you are qualified as a pharmacist, you will join the workforce as a full-time pharmacist. Again, like, I know pension, come on, you only thinking about pension person, or like pension as the people who are coming toward their retirement time, toward later on the time in their life. However, it's really important for us to actually thinking about it at the beginning when you first join the workforce, kind of like a reverse engineer toward your retirement. What would you like to achieve when you reach 67, if you would like to retire at the age that everyone else is retiring, or if you like me that want to retire earlier, then you need to think about your pension seriously. Okay, so I know you might be thinking, all right then, I've just done 5 years of uni, I've just completed the pre-reg exam, I have no time for this, Lynn. Or like you might be busy at work with all the new SOP or the like politics with like the workforce and new friendship, or like myself, at some point I was too busy dating my Tinder boy. You know, we was going out dating, and you know, like, you probably think, oh Lynn, I have no time for this, please leave me alone. But please, all I want is just to hear me out, just 5 minutes where I just talk to you about my experience. I guarantee you that I'm not going to waste your time. Okay, start with what's mistake that I made. When I first qualified, I was working for the NHS. That was 2 years of working full time, so the NHS would 9% would contributed toward my pension. Then when I left the job, I withdraw my pension. That was the first silly mistake that I made. And again, I was thinking, well, it's free money, so why don't I just use it now? I mean, I didn't think about my future at all at that point, and that was really silly because I end up getting taxed on top of the withdrawal of the pension that I've got. Like, I wish the reason why I wanted to talk about these is because I wish I knew about it sooner. I wish somebody could have told me about it. But again, you know, coming from overseas and then busy working part-time, working full work, busy with university, and a lot of my peers we don't really talk to your friends about finance. Really, it's like the topic that you like, it'd be really weird to mention that topic to a friend, or talking like how much you earn, what's your salary, what do you invest. It's not a common topic that you talk when you go out. Really, you'd be thinking, Lynn, such a freak, why is she always just talking about investing and finance? But I wish I knew about it sooner. I wish there was a module at university about finance to equip young adults join the workforce, how important these topics are. So like you start working, like I've started working at 23, and then when by the time you retire, hopefully 67, that is 44 years of your life working full time, and you contributed a small pot of money over time, and that pension is invested, and that's 44 years. Is a long time for the money to compound. So when I talk about compounding is when your money generate interest, and that interest then added into to make like a snowball effect to make your pot is a little bit bigger. You invested not just original amount, but also the interest of the fund that you invested before contributed as well to make your fund even bigger. and it is the money that you're not going to touch for 44 years. Just imagine how much it will be if you could just maximize it. So like, again, it's not a topic that you speak to your friend, and if you speak to 80% of the young population, no one gonna know about it. No wonder it just like you know the word pension, but it's just gonna be backburnered because you don't really think about it, because you're thinking that you are young and you're kicking, and you're not going to access a pension, so why stressing over it now? It is understandable. Coming from a middle class family, my mom always instilled it into me and my sister and my brother, the work ethic. All we know is work. And again, I think it's just the reality that of work that hit me, knowing that we're living in a capitalism world. And it's brutal, because it's not how much you work. It's not the hardest. The harder you work, the more successful your life going to be, the more prosperity you are going to get. It's how financially literate you are to know the system, to understanding where you should work hard and how you should invest your money, and to make your money generate more money to benefit to you and your future. You could be the hardest worker in the world, and if you don't know how to invest your money, then your money is losing the value, and then by the time you're 67 and you would like to retire, your money is already losing value. £100 today that you have in your mattress, it will not buy you a nice coat from Zara. And it's important to know about it so you can get ahead in life. Everyone have a pension, but no one really know what it is. Your savings should be empowering, and it should give you the motivation to act on it. And I guess the reality is nobody wants to work forever. You might tell me, Lynn, I'm happy just to be pharmacist for the rest of my life, but that's the conversation, me and you in our 20s. The chances are you will change, circumstances change, you will change. You might want to start a family, you might want to pick up traveling, you might want to have more time to learn different hobbies like martial arts, or pick up singing, or like that, setting up your YouTube channel, or even have more time for yourself to read book instead of working, stretching yourself until you burnt out. Being informed, it gives you the flexibility, and it gives you the option of what you can do. If you need to change, if you don't like the circumstances that you are, if you don't like the toxic work environment where you are now, you could change. And you're not going to do that if you don't have an emergency saving, or you don't have a good pension. For example, we do our car MOT every single year to make sure our car is working perfectly fine, but we don't really spend time to revise over the personal finance that we have, see whether it still fit with our circumstances or not. Recap over it every single year, build up enough money so that one day you think, I have enough of this, I just work away from it. None of us knows that what the future holds ahead of us, and we humans are not very good at predicting what the future holds. So why not give yourself the option? Why not give yourself the flexibility to do that? So it makes sense to keep your options open. So if I tell you that if you build up your pension pot, it will give you more flexibility in 10 years time, would you like to listen to it? You can just make a small changes to your pension so that you will have the option to, you would have enough money to pay for the mortgage, to pay for the bill. Just one change and you can effortlessly do that. Let's jump into what the pension is and how much do we contribute every single month. So now I'm working for a private company. As a minimum, you will pay 5% of your pre-tax salary into the pension, and your employer will contribute 3% into that pot. And then on top of that, you get 1% from the government in terms of tax relief. So for example, if you put £100 into your pension pot, then the government will give you £25 as a tax relief into your pension pot. So overall, you have £125. So you've got free money from the government, free money from your employer to contribute into your future. So why wasting that benefit? You work hard for it, so stay in. So please do not ever opt out of your pension, okay? If you can. That is the minimum contribution of a full-time employees. I will do a bit more research of what pension will look like, for self-employed. So any pharmacists who are locum, you are classed as self-employed, so your way of pension contribution will be slightly different with a full-time employees. So that's maybe the topic for the next video, so stay tuned for more updates on how my pension will be when I'm practicing as a full-time locum. Again, like as I say from the beginning, if you find it useful, if you want to do more, do your own research about this, or speak to a certified, an independent financial advisor who will give you more expertise, who can give you a tailored advice to suit your circumstances. It's like a junior, being a junior pharmacist, you recognizing your competency, and it's the same in the circumstances that this is not our strong point, it's not our bread and butter. So you ask for help. You will be surprised the amount of money that it will save you over the long run if you had known about this sooner. So like recognizing that if you can, so as I mentioned earlier, there is 9% of your pre-tax is 9% is your pension. So if you can, that's the minimum. But if you feel like, if you work from home, or if you can save, if you live with your parents and you don't have to pay rent, or you can squeeze a little bit more, then increase that percentage as much as you can, because it will be beneficial to you later on. And your pensions, again, going back to the investing side of things, you might be thinking, oh, I don't do investing, that's too difficult for me, I don't need to worry about it, I'd rather don't invest because I can't deal with the risk. But actually, your pension, the pot that you put every single month, it is invested by the fund manager. So find out to your own company how your pension is invested, what their pension is. Just certain company, like for example with mine, so I contributed 7%, and then my employer only contributed into my pot 3%, and that's the max they would go for. For the same company, my colleague who have been with them longer, who actually, or maybe they have different kind of contract, their pension is actually matched. So if the employees contributed 5%, the employer would match that and put 5% into the pension. So it's, again, the free money is increasing, so why not make the most of it if you are capable? And if you're earning like even just 1%, it will give you the benefit over the long run. So here, example of my salary. So I will give you to demonstrate to you two payslip. One is before, when my pension was minimum, and on the other one is when my pension has been up to 10%. The other one was 8%. The other one is 10%, and you can see the difference is significantly different. So with the first one, my basic pay is roughly about the same, but I pay a lot more tax, £519.40 compared to £462.60. The national insurance contribution is roughly the same, but if you look at the pension contribution from myself and my employer, it's the total for myself is £124.80, and my employer contributed £93.60. Compared to my most current payslip, I'm contributing £410.33, and that is just moving from 8% into 10%. And you could just see, like, I have contributed into my pension twice as much as what I was before, and I pay significantly less tax too. So even a small percentage, it could help us tremendously different into your contribution. And my pension pot is invested with Legal and General, and that pot is put into a diversify index fund. They would invest into a different company. I think you pay some annual management fee towards it. So I mean, if I didn't know about it, I was just thinking, oh, that's my pension, but I never look into it and see what they actually do with the money that I invested in. So I'm saving more as the reduction was deducted by salary sacrifice. This means they are deducted from my pre-tax, which is gross salary, and national insurance applies. Therefore, I've achieved a full tax and employees' national insurance contribution relief into my pension. Again, if you want to maximize another pension pot. Maybe start thinking about the lifetime ISA. That's another thing that you could use. If that's the other thing that you could set up to for yourself. So if you are 18 to 39 years old, cash saving ISA, and with these you can contribute it a little lump sum again, or you are allowed to put a maximum of £4,000, as if I can save £4,000 a month right now to put to that cash ISA. But you never know. I mean, if you are stingy enough and can budget yourself better, £4,000 is not that much easy. If you can do that, that's the maximum allowance that you can have. And you can ask whether you use that pot for your first home. But if you already bought yourself a house, then I can use that as another pension pot for myself, and you can access that by the time you're 50. These are the money that you're not allowed to. You have to treat as the pension money. It's your retirement fund, it's your future fund. You're not allowed to withdraw it early because you would have to pay the penalty. However, if you are patient enough and you can save it in a long run, you could be entitled to 25% government bonus into the total amount of what you have invested throughout the year. So if you are 25 years old right now and you started the account and you would like to withdraw it by the time you're 50, that is 25 years of contribution. You would be loaded. So it is really important to stay on top of your pension contribution throughout your working life, and your future will thank you for that. Like when I was 18, 19 years old, I was working 2 to 3 jobs. I'm thinking like I would just work in extra to make more money, but actually after COVID, and I think I'm 27 years old and have the body of 72 years old, for example, I get tired really easy. I find like I cannot do as many hustle. I cannot just trade my time for money like that again. And I think having COVID just kind of gave me a wake-up call, saying that I cannot just treat my body like a hamster and keep going and going and going. You know, as you get older, you might have more family commitment, you might have childcare, you might have to look after your parents, you might want to take some time out or be involved in other activity. So right now, when you're still young, why don't make the most of it and contribute as much as you can, so that you will be beneficial to it later on, because you don't really need that now, do you? Final notes: as I mentioned earlier, you now know that the pension that deducted from your monthly payslip is invested into different company, into building hospital or railway, any project. It's important to know where is that money invested into. So obviously, if you have the option, you rather want your money to be invested into good cause, to make the world a better place, or to invest it into a greener, like right now the hot topic is climate change. So you would want that money to invest it in a company that would do more good than bad, will not be like a random company that making tobacco, or a factory somewhere that exploit its worker, or using like fossil fuel, non-sustainable energy source. You want to use that to thinking about renewable energy, something that will be better for the future. So that would be something that, you know, you would have to, if you can, have a look at your pension pots. So with mine, it's a legal in general, and I can log into it and I can find out which kind of index fund is invested to. And I will introduce a new concept, which is ESA investing. ESA stands for environmental, social, and G is for governance. Environmental, it's cover carbon emissions, water stress, climate change, pollutions and waste, and renewable energy. Social stands for the rights, the well-being, and the interests of the citizen, of the worker who work for that company. It takes in the privacy and the data, the worker right, the supply chain, and including the series of overseas sweatshop, or the health and safety of the worker. Are they treating the employees in a correct manner instead of just exploring them somewhere in Asia, for example? And the last aspects of ESG is governance. So the governance side of things will be how the business runs, looking at issues like board, their employees diversity, their tax transparency, then accountability of the business as well. So you could look into that. And again, that could be a topic for itself. You can just look into that, and it actually is your money is used responsibly into the company that will make the world a better place. So do your research, because you don't want to invest on a random company, and you could make a little impact into the world. So it's like a double warming. That is my learning about pension, and I thought I want to share it out to you. I want you to make the most of your sweat labor, so that you're not just paying tax all the time, you're actually investing for yourself. And if you didn't know about it, you would just be ignorant. These are your future. You have to treat it seriously. I cannot stress enough the importance of this, and I would rather you to not waste the time. Use it like being young. We've got a long time ahead of us. Let's make the most of it. Let's make the most of compound interest and invest into our future, investing into our family, and have a pension pot, so that you're not just relying on state pension when you are older. Or if you want to, if the investment from your pension is doing well, you could actually retire at 50. It's easy as that. Or even sooner, you set your own goals post, and you recap on how much money, and you'll be surprised how much it will compound over time, and how much you'll be better off if you just make 1% changes. So I hope you enjoy my rant. I hope I'm not bombarding you with too many terminology. Honestly, look into it. It fascinates me, and I cannot stress you how important it is. So if you are going through the same journey as me, please let me know in the comment below if you manage to find some other useful resources that support us as a young adult, as a young worker, as millionaires, to make our future better. Then let me know in the comment below. But thank you for listening. I'm looking forward to see you in the next video.